Bethany Manctalo here. Welcome to our Millwall fan show with some new voices, but the same focus. Just everything Millwall. Enjoy!
I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me are some of the No One Likes Us Talking team. Hello, Ted Robinson.
Evening, Eamonn.
Hello, Dave Hart.
Evening, Eamonn.
And hello to a long-lost hero, Henry Morgan.
Evening, Eamonn.
This is our Millwall fan show, playoffs special, second leg. How about that then?
Not everybody likes them, but they don't care.
Well, Millwall and Hull City met at the MKM Stadium in Hull on Friday evening, with neither side able to find the net. Well, not quite, but the one that did got ruled out. Millwall finished strongly in third place in the regular season, while Hull City clinched sixth place on an exciting final day for them. The semi-final is played over two legs, with the overall winner moving on to compete at Wembley Stadium. If the scores are tied tomorrow night, the matches will go to extra time and, if needed, penalties. Fans can catch all the action live on Sky Sports in the UK. Notably, in the regular season, both teams secured 3-1 victories on the road against each other. The stakes are high. Whoever wins will face either Southampton or Middlesbrough, who also played out a scoreless draw at Middlesbrough on Saturday. So who will go into the playoff final on Saturday, May the 23rd, 2026, with a shot at the place in the Premier League? Well, we'll talk a little bit about that now. So, Henry, what went really well for us at Hull, and are there any areas where you think we can improve our play?
Evening, Eamonn. I mean, anywhere we can improve our play. Well, we can score some goals to start off with. That might definitely help. But I think, we were clearly the better team on the evening, and I thought second half by a country mile, really. I know Hull had an early chance with that fella coming off the left-hand side and sort of put it wide of the post, near side post. Illumi, yeah. But apart from that, I thought we looked very solid, to be honest. There was a lot of talk in the pre-game build-up by Sky about McBurney. I don't think he really did much. I think Cooper did a really good job of keeping him quiet, and Kramer did as well at the back. I thought, again, when Barry Bannon came on for that last sort of 20 minutes or so, just the flow of the game changes when he comes on.
Yeah.
He was obviously exceptional against Oxford. Just ran the show. I don't know how somebody like him, it seems to create space out of nothing, and I always thought he did that at Sheffield Wednesday as well when he was there. Yeah. He turned the Middlesbrough game up there. He really is someone that I think in the second leg could just absolutely change the game for us. But I don't know. I don't know if he's being kept, sort of leg, minutes in his legs or something for the second leg in case we need to sort of turn it on. But yeah, I was a bit baffled why he didn't play, to be honest, because he was obviously so good against Oxford and deservedly man of the match. So I thought that was both of those were fantastic. I thought Negley had a great game, and he's kind of gone unsort of mentioned, I think, in most of the press reports I've seen and stuff. I thought he was fantastic, just again creating bits of space. He obviously had the shot that hit the post and went just wide. I mean, we could talk about the disallowed goal. I don't know what Dave and Ted's thoughts were on that, but for me, it's either a penalty or it's a goal. I don't know how he's come to the conclusion that it was that. I know the sort of final replay angle, you can clearly see him, Kramer pulling the shirt, but for me, he's been pulled down prior to that. So it's either a penalty or they're both wrestling with each other and it's a goal. So usual madness, usual conspiracy theories about the FA. But I thought it was a really assured performance and we were just missing that goal. But for me, it could have been easily 2-0 to us.
Thanks, Henry. Dave, what did you think we did very well and where we might be able to improve our play?
Yeah, Henry's actually summed it up quite well. There's not a lot really I can add to that. I mean, obviously, scoring goals has been a problem for us quite a bit this season, but we managed to eke out a result. So I can't really complain about that. As you said, Negley had a lot of influence in the game. And I thought Aziz was a bit shaded in the game. He's not his usual self, but apart from that, I don't think I can actually find any fault in our performance. People I spoke to that was the highlights afterwards have said that if you watch the highlights, it's all one-way traffic to Hull, but that is complete opposite to where the game was. So I don't know who did the editing, but it's one of those things that is good to go away and get a 0-0 because it all comes down to a one-game shootout.
It does. What did you think of Coburn, Dave?
Coburn, that's the guy that we need to keep fit all the time because once again, he was getting fouled, pulled all over the place. When are we ever going to get a penalty with it?
Yeah.
But shirt being grabbed, you could say the same thing every week. Or Cooper. Cooper does it himself. I mean, if we manage to go up to the Premiership, we're going to have to really push it because with VAR, I'm sorry, we're going to be in trouble.
I don't disagree.
Mm-hmm. Ted, what's your pronunciation on what took place, being there live amongst it all happening?
I don't know who. It was obviously a Hull fan who edited it because, as Henry said, we was dominant. We was very dominant. We was perhaps a bit nervous, I suppose you could call it. First 15, 20 minutes, we seemed to the ball seemed to be a little bit of an hot potato for us. But once we settled down and started knocking the ball around, and one guy who deserves a slightly special mention, I think, is Mazu Saka, because I was one that, in some respects, was thinking that maybe after his performance against Oxford that Barry Bannon would start. But having seen the game the way that it panned out, I see why Alex Neil played him, because his physicality in there, he won so many balls just in front of our back four, and that's one area I thought we was really dominant, was in the middle of the park. But I thought Mazu Saka was outstanding. Coburn, at the end of the day, what gives me more than a bit of hope for the second leg is that they cannot handle Coburn. The two centre halves could not handle him one bit. I just think it was a decent, polished performance. We never really looked like losing to me. There was only one side that was going to win it at the end, and in fact, we did win it. But as the boy said, that was either a penalty or it was a goal, because the guy nearly had Kramer's shirt off his back first. But it's amazing how in them situations in the penalty area, the referee only sees it one way. But listen, I say that there were some good performances all round. It was a good, solid performance that really probably, if anybody was going to win it, it was us. 1-0 wouldn't have been an unfair result whatsoever. So, but yeah, it was enjoyable because I never felt like we was going to lose, which is unusual for a Millwall team, to be quite honest. But yeah, that's how it felt while I was there.
Ted, I'm going to ask you about Barlow, because there seems to be a growing group of social media Millwall fans who are not very appreciative of what he does. What's your take on that?
Well, to start with, I'll be amazed if there wasn't one player that a set of Millwall fans weren't having a go at, because it seems to be a tradition with Millwall fans to pick one guy out and say he's playing rubbish. But Barlow, in the last few games, Barlow has done his work. He's got back. And I'll tell you what, he's done more work than Amaku did in God knows how many games he played. Yeah. Because the trouble with Amaku was he didn't track back. Whereas Barlow, he gets knocked off the ball easier, but there was quite a few times he stopped their fullback from getting forward, or he got back and made a tackle on the fullback. And he is what I would say doing his job. Listen, there's times when any forward player, like Dave mentioned Aziz wasn't really on his game on the other night. Again, he sometimes gets himself into them positions like I was talking about before on the last one, before the game that we done last week.
Yeah,
he gets himself in a position and doesn't deliver. You know, and he has got quality, he shows that from time to time. The thing with him, we want him to show it more often. And that's the same with Bello on the other side. You know, he works into one position and he missed a shot. Then he works himself in another position, hit a shot, and it hit a guy, which I'd love to have seen if it wasn't blocked where it would have gone.
Yeah.
And then there was also one when it came across and Aziz missed his kick completely. You know, the wide players are, you know, expected to deliver. And it's funny how, you know, I think even players like Aziz, pressure starts to build up, people get a bit fed up. Then all of a sudden, thankfully, this season, Aziz has delivered and he's done. You know, he's scored a fantastic goal or done a brilliant cross. But in between that, he's getting starting to get a little bit of stick like Bello gets. You know, I think you just have to stick with it. I'm really interested about tomorrow night how he's going to pick the side, because I think he'll actually start with the same team. But I agree 100% with Emery. Barry Bannon is the key for me, for us, for these next two games, because the man is absolute pure quality. He could find space in the phone box. He's unbelievable. Everyone sort of panics about he's not physical enough and things like that. He don't have to be physical, because he'll either nick the ball for someone's feet, or when the ball's coming to him, he's in so much space or makes space for himself that nobody's got a chance of getting near him anyway. So I mean, I think he's going to go like the same team because of Mazu Sakho's presence as it was.
Yeah, such a good game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be at all surprised if we don't see Barry Bannon, if not at the start of the second half, early in the second half, if it's still 0-0 and not really happening for us, you know. But overall, Friday night, I would have taken that at the start at least, if you know what I mean. So happy days. We'd all taken this at the start of the season, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Game at home at the Den to decide whether we go to Wembley or not.
I've got to say that it was a real shame that we never captured Bannon in the summertime, because I think we would have been head, shoulders and feet already gone and in the Premier League now. I really do believe that. That's not bad. That's not a bad shout, Eamonn, as it goes. Yeah.
Look, the bottom line is it doesn't matter how big, tall, small, whatever a player is. If they've got quality about them, or they've got a football brain, which the guy has. In fact, he's got a football brain in advance of some of our players, unfortunately. But he is quality.
Yes.
You cannot, you can't put a price on that. And you're probably right, Eamonn. I think if he'd have been around and we had him regularly throughout the season, I think our chances would have gone up 20% of being in straight going up, I think.
Undoubtedly, absolutely, undoubtedly. And seeing that you're very confident about the next two games that we got to play, my next question goes to you, Henry, about after our game at the MKM. How confident do you feel that Millwall can make it to Wembley and come out on top at Wembley?
Come out on top at Wembley is a different conversation. I think that as long as we just go out and we attack Hull in this second game tomorrow night and we leave everything out on the pitch, I think we're the better team. I know they beat us 3-1 at the Den, which was, but both of those two goals, they got two early goals and both of them came against the run of play. And this is the one thing, the only thing that made me a bit nervous about Hull is that they clearly were setting up even at home to hit us on the counter attack. And that's what, I mean, when's the last time we had so much possession? I think we had some almost 60% possession. I mean, Bill, we never have that. Like, I think, one of the stats before the game was that both of us have such, like phobia of having the ball. And somehow we ended up with 60% possession. And like I said, we've got to make it pay. And I think when I look back to that Oxford game, the amount of balls that Aziz put into the box and no one got on the end of them. Now, that's where I think Coburn is better, because Coburn can kind of get onto the end of them and sort of get himself into those positions where Ivanovic doesn't always do that. Whereas I think Ivanovic is more of a sort of 10 and he you don't want to give him any space around the 18-yard box that little bit further out, because he'll punish you. So, I mean, the only thing for me is should we start with two up front at home? But obviously that changes the complete shape of the team and what we were trying to achieve. And again, who would you drop from that starting 11. I mean, I possibly Barlow, but again, he's only 24. I think he had a cracking game. The other thing that I would say is that they were, every time I've seen Millwall in a playoff game previously, and I can go back, I can't quite remember the Brighton one, but I remember Derby and I remember Birmingham. Do I dare even mention that? And we always looked nervous. We never looked like we were either in control of the game or in control of our fate. I feel this time we are. I feel like we did everything on the last day to try and go automatic. We had to get 12 points from the last 4 games, and we got just 2. We got 10. That's pretty good. So we're on good form. I think we'll do it tomorrow night. I think it's going to be like that Huddersfield game. Toss a coin at Wembley. It could go either way. I don't care if it's Southampton or Borough. On that day, it's often the odd goal that wins it, and it could well be us.
Okay, we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go forward. Now, I think one of the points that Henry made there was about his confidence based on what we've been doing and how we've got there. What do you reckon, Dave?
Yeah, I think we're quite a confident side. There's no doubt about that. And this season really reminds me of the 2019 season. We were battling with Leeds for second place. They nicked it, 86 or 85 points. Play our first leg away, Huddersfield, 0-0. Second leg, 2-0 comfortable at home, Morrison and Robinson. And then we went to Wembley, a 1-0 win. This is the way I can see it panning out for us, but no prediction there on the 2-0 because I'm not sure about that score, but I'll give my prediction later. But yes, definitely confident. I think we're playing with that confidence. We spread the ball around, and it's entertaining football, which is why we go to see football, to watch entertaining football.
Yeah. Well, that's entertaining football or not. It's the confidence which you've aspired to as Henry has in what you've communicated. So, Ted, have you got an aspiration around the confidence for tomorrow night?
Oh, I'm definitely confident. I mean, I think, as Henry said, we was the better side. We was the more dominant side up at Hull. We was the side that was playing the better football. The one thing, though, we obviously have to be careful of is they are a counter-attacking side, and they did, unfortunately, do us at home. They have got players that can score, like Hart. He's the guy Joseph, whose dad and family are all Millwall fans. He scored 2 against us in that victory that they had, Hull. So that's why I think he'd probably start with the same setup that we had up at Hull and be just wary about not giving Hull the opportunities to counter-attack us. And that comes down to making sure that we keep the ball and move the ball. I would just like to see us move the ball a little bit quicker at times to get Aziz and Bello, if they are playing, or one-on-ones a bit more quickly, because I think you've got to remember, as I think Henry pointed out as well, that they're a side that likes to have a team come at them. Their strength is counter-attacking. So it's going to be important we don't give the ball away in silly areas so they can get at us. But having said that, and the way that we played and the confidence that we had with the game before, and like I said before, with Josh Coburn being such a thorn in the side of them 2 centre halves, I think he'll start out with the same team. If it's not going well, I can see him at some point maybe bringing Ivanovic on and making it 2 up front. I can see that happening, but that's the beauty. We've got so many players on the bench that could come on and have an influence on the game. That could well be Bannon from Sardo, but Alfie Doherty, nobody puts a ball in the box like Alfie Doherty. So, if they are hanging on and we need to get a goal or whatever, we've got options. Yeah. But they should be, as a team, they should be confident with the performance they put in at Friday night, that they are the better team. We are the better team than them. Confidence can be a good thing, but it can work against you sometimes. But I think in this instance, it's going to work for us. And I can't see us not winning. tomorrow. I really can't. I think I'm that confident. I am confident that it's going to be a win for Millwall.
Well, we'll talk about how confident you are when you dictate what the.
By the way, Eamonn, I was going to say,
yes.
I don't care who it is at Wembley if we get. I just want to get there.
Henry, as Ted has alluded to, he has a view over what's going to happen. So, following the tied game in the first leg of the other semi-final in the North East, what are your thoughts on how the second leg might unfold, especially with Southampton hosting Middlesbrough this time?
I think, again, Middlesbrough had I don't know, like 15 plus shots, 6 on target. Southampton did very little until those last sort of 15 minutes or so of the game. I think that was Borough's chance. I really do. I think it was their chance to go and get a 2-goal cushion, then go down to Southampton and try and see the game out. And I think now Southampton at home, it looked to me a little bit like maybe Southampton were running out of steam. They've had an FA Cup semi-final. They've had an extra game in that midweek against Ipswich coming up, in the last 10 days. But maybe they were just being a bit more defensive. They looked like a completely different side to the one that I saw in that Ipswich game. In that Ipswich game, they just went toe-to-toe with them, and I thought, how on earth would we beat them if they were in the playoffs? And I think a lot of people thought the same thing again. So I think that they potentially have now sort of lost that opportunity, and I can't see how Southampton lose up there. It's the Championship, isn't it? This is a funny thing, Amy. The Championship, as we know, anyone can beat anyone, and Borough are a quality side. I just think if you look at the value of Southampton's bench and the value of Middlesbrough's bench, and you think, all right, Borough gave that everything in that home leg, and now they've got to try and reset, reload, and go again. And Southampton have just got, that talent in more depth. They just, they've had those parachute payments. They've got, one of the teams that was tipped to go up automatically beginning of the season. So they shouldn't even really be in the mess that they're in if they hadn't started the season so badly. And I think they were down in 19th or 20th, weren't they, when your man took over. So I think Southampton will do it, and us v Southampton in the final again. I think it'll be the odd goal, but I think why not us? We finished third. We could have gone up second. So close. And in the big moments this season, when we've really needed that result, we've gone and we've got it. And I'd say that with the exception of that Leicester City game, but
I think that Middlesbrough are coming back into form. I said it before the game was played on Friday. Their game was played on Saturday. I predicted a draw, a 1-1 draw, and it turned out to be a 0-0 draw. But I could see Middlesbrough actually going for it and getting that draw. And it turned out exactly that way. They absolutely pummeled Southampton. I thought they were really going for it, but it just didn't happen. And they fizzled out, and Southampton got back into the game late in the second half. So 0-0 was probably fair at the end of it, but they should have grabbed it by the throat on the night, Middlesbrough. And I think overall, with Southampton, as Henry said, they could be running out of steam here because they've had a big season. And it wouldn't surprise me that Borough actually nick it on Tuesday.
Yeah, we had a similar state of affairs when we went to Cardiff, didn't we, that season, where perhaps our FA Cup got in the way of us. I can live with those thoughts, and I did start to think, watching that game, that Southampton were on burnout. But we'll talk more about that a little bit later. How do you see that panning out down at Southampton, Ted?
Well, Henry's put it in a nutshell when he said any team can beat any team in the Championship, let alone the team that's finished 4th and 5th. I can actually see it going to extra time and penalties, maybe this one. Middlesbrough, I've said it all along, I think they're probably the best footballing side I've seen in our division. But the trouble with them, their Achilles heel's been all season. They don't score enough goals. They rely upon the likes of, I'll tell you, he's like Middlesbrough's Femi Aziz, which is Morgan Whittaker. He can produce something out of nothing and score a fantastic goal. But he's not the sort of guy that's going to get you a tap in or sort of one who's going to be on the end of a cross. And that's where they seem to lack. They just, as Dave said, they pummeled them in the first half, but just couldn't turn that into goals. And of course, as we were saying before our first show about the semi-finals, they're missing Hayden Hackney, who is probably the best player in the Championship when he's in the side and playing.
Yes,
obviously. But he could be, if he turns up on Tuesday night, he could be that missing link for Middlesbrough.
Yes.
But in the same breath, you've got to weigh that out against the fact now that Southampton are going to be at home. I don't think they can play as poorly as they did in the first half again. And at the end of the day, they nearly nicked that game. So, you've got to look at Southampton. And like you quite rightly pointed out, the quality of their bench and within that side, that they probably just start as favourites off the back of being at home. I wouldn't be at all surprised if it goes all the way, that game, if it's right away through extra time and even goes to penalties. I do hope our one don't, but I can see that one going to penalties. And but they're both decent sides on their day. So if we was to get through, whoever we meet at Wembley, it is the old lottery effect out there. But there's a quiet confidence about our side and the way we knock the ball about at Hull. Once we settled down, that was. And I really do give ourselves a good chance, hopefully tomorrow night and in the next game.
Well, tomorrow night and in the next game. We have previously struggled to reach the top flight via the playoffs. And you mentioned that, of course, Henry. So what concerns do we have about facing Hull City at the Den on Monday evening? Where are the pinch points for us when we face up to the Tigers?
So I think, like, slightly perversely for us, our home form's not been our strength this year. And unfortunately, if it had been, we wouldn't even be having these conversations because we'd already be promoted. So that's one of my concerns, is that what I would say is in the last few weeks, we didn't, I thought QPR could have been a bit of a banana skin, and Oxford as well, actually. When a team's got nothing to play for, they can sometimes be dangerous, but luckily both of them were pretty toothless, and we played relatively well, which hopefully instilled a bit of that confidence. But for Hull, I'm not sure they're going to have played in an atmosphere like what they're going to get tomorrow night. It's all the posts on social media about making it in one of those proper nasty environments. You think back to that Everton game, you think, obviously, to the Huddersfield one. But even when we were playing sort of, I think back to when we had, not the Scunthorpe game. That was a Tuesday night. That was shocking. But the one the year before against Bradford was a cracking atmosphere again. And obviously, we only needed to draw that night because we had the Lee Gregory show before that. But I don't know. I think it will be. I'm hoping that it will be too much tomorrow night. What I'm concerned about is their counter-attack, the whole counter-attack. If they do bring the ball down, you've got, Cooper and Crammer in that middle. The two big men in the centre, even when it's Caleb Taylor, when players bring the ball down and play it round us, we are vulnerable.
Yes.
So that's what concerns me. But what I'm hoping is we've got the occasion is going to be so frenetic that they don't get an opportunity really to do that. And in the first leg, they didn't, right? But it's that counter-attack. That's the only thing that worries me tomorrow night, is that counter-attack.
Okay. Counter-attack apart. Dave, we've talked about the counter-attack perhaps being the concern that we need to play with. But what about our play? Our play in certain areas up at Hull was a weakness for me. I mean, too many times, Sturge and also Aziz were offside when the balls were slotted into them. Is that not a factor in a concern that we might have about the next game tomorrow night?
Yeah, Sturge is still a young player, and he's got to put an edge on his game. It's all about how you read the game. Tom, we see accomplished professionals in the Premiership now still get offside, so it's not an easy thing to do. Just you think you've only got to look across the line, but sometimes your brain is one step ahead of the ball, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And it's quite easy to go offside. So I can see your point on that. Personally, I don't think I've got any concerns with our game. As Henry said, we haven't been as good at home as we normally are, and if we were, we would have been promoted by now. But that's neither here nor there. We have to go with what we've got. So I would say that I feel quite confident that we'll go out tomorrow and we'll overcome our obstacles and move on.
Overcome the hoodoo, eh, Dave? That's
Absolutely.
Your message. Sounds good to me. Well, Ted, how about you, hoodoos and all the rest that goes with it? What do you reckon?
Well, listen, it's Millwall fans, isn't it? We're always going to think about hoodoos and, the FA's against us and all this blah, blah, blah. Every reason why we may lose the game. But what I've noticed with this season, there's a character in this side. There's a steeliness about them. And what that comes from is the manager. The manager sends them out there and they all know exactly what their job is. You can tell that they've all been coached really well in the team as a team, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And what I was really pleased about the first leg was we was dominant with the ball. It was us that was looking like, dare I say it, more like a Premier side than a Championship side, because we was starting to keep the ball and knock the ball around. What I would say is I would hope all of us down there are patient tomorrow night. Don't expect it all to be over and done with in 5 minutes. Don't start getting on their back if it's 0-0 after 60 minutes. Let the game keep playing and out. And I think we will get stronger as the game goes on, because every one of these games is always a bit frenetic at the start until it settles down and we get into the rhythm of the game and whatever. But I'm confident that this side, to be honest, is probably the best side that I believe, or best squad, that we have had in this position. Yes, we've been here before and we lost the Birmingham game, which I nearly choked when Emery mentioned it, because that game still hurts me to this day.
Yeah.
I think we all thought we'd done the job at Birmingham.
Yeah. And got that away goal.
So
Stern John.
Exactly. Don't mention that name, but it's painful. It's painful, and it can be painful. And what I'm saying is, if it is still 0-0, the worst thing we could do is go complete gung-ho against this side, because that is when they could hit us on the break. And I'd hate to see us just throwing it all in there, and then for some reason it doesn't go anywhere and comes out to one of them, off he goes and scores. So we've got to be controlled, got to be, as we was the other night, on the top of our game. And I'm just confident. I've had confidence about this team for quite a while, because there seems to be something in them that whenever things have gone wrong, they bounce back. And they seemed really focused the other night, which is what I like. They seemed really focused on what they was doing, what they was going to do. I hope the same thing happens tomorrow night. And I'm quietly confident that it will go our way.
Super Ted. Well, Super Ted, that's a wonderful name, isn't it?
Really?
Yeah. Henry, we're going to move on to a little bit that's been played out on social media. And it's the one about we've not played as well when there are short turnarounds between games, as at West Brom and Leicester. Will a 3-day turnaround have the same effect on both sides?
I mean, it should do. I don't see why it wouldn't. I think short turnarounds, and you could also say Middlesbrough and Norwich as well. They were difficult short turnarounds as well. And I'm the worst at this because obviously I've brought up all our history. We've got to just put everything that's come before us. It doesn't make any. And Alex Neil's really good at this. Actually, makes no bones tomorrow night. It doesn't matter that we've lost playoff games and all this before. It doesn't matter that we didn't win West Brom. It didn't matter that we've been poor on short turnarounds. All that matters is tomorrow night and the fact that we don't do those things tomorrow night. And if we execute to the level that we know we're capable of, we're going to beat Hull. So that's what I would say.
Okay. Dave, short turnarounds. We added a couple more that exposed us to having quite a poor record in short turnarounds. How about this time?
Yeah, I'm going to put the Leicester game down to the hoodoo of we never beat a Gary Rowett side.
Okay, that's
a fact. We never get a result against a Gary Rowett side. So I think I'll take the Leicester game out. But I think these short turnarounds probably should have the same effect on both sides. So it should work out to be even.
Okay.
As Henry said, Alex Neil is going to be on it. He's going to have a plan. He's going to have their heads in the right place. And if he follows the plan, they follow his plan for the night. I can't see any other result tomorrow night other than the win.
Thank you very much, Dave. On to you, Ted. Anything there about short turnarounds that we've got a pedigree in them? Or?
Well, I mean, it's a short turnaround, but in this particular case, it's the short turnaround for both sides. And what I see the other night on Friday night, if anyone of the two sides was going to be more tired, I would have thought it had been Hull because they've done a lot more chasing of the ball than we did because we kept the ball better than them. Yes. So I'm not sure about the tiredness or anything that coming. And the difference, I think, at this moment in time, Eamonn, is we've got more or less a fully fit squad.
Yeah.
Which on occasions when we've looked tired, if you know what I mean, Alex Neil's literally had no option but to go out and send out the same team. I mean, people forget when we played Hull and we lost to them at home the first time, we had Alfie Doughty playing in centre of midfield because we didn't have any midfield players, and things like that. So we've got, apart from obviously Caleb Taylor, bless him, we've more or less got a full strength squad. So there's people sitting on the bench there that be itching to get out on the pitch, So I think that counts for a lot in tomorrow's game because the adrenaline of the game being what it is will set them up to start with. And, you know what I mean? You're going to be on the top of your game. It probably won't be a great game of football. They never are. But they'll be on the top of it and they'll be challenging and fighting for everything. And I don't think tiredness or looking tired will even come into it. It may be that Alex, like I said a little bit earlier in the show, he might choose to use some substitutes a bit earlier in the second half than he did on Friday night. But I don't think that's going to be an issue, to be quite honest. And the hoodoo business about, listen, I always think if we haven't got through for 3 occasions in this situation, then it's about time we did. So hopefully this is going to be the one time that it works for us. And I think we've got the squad to do it.
4th time lucky, not 3rd time. Yeah, that sounds good to me. And I've got to say, it has got to be something that affects both sides. I mean, if you both have a 3-day turnaround, then goodness gracious, you're going to be in the same boat, aren't you? At least.
As I say, they say it's harder when you're chasing the ball than when you're knocking it around. And if I look at that game the other night, we was knocking the ball around and they was chasing. So, and I think they're a bit struggling in midfield because the guy Crooks is not really a central midfield player. So, listen, I mean...
The other person I was disappointed in actually was Geldar. I didn't see him really doing much at all for them, and he's been quite a star this season. So, let the force be with us. That's what I say, Ted. Super Ted, let the force be with us. Right, back to you, Henry. We didn't do really very well in the score predictions at all. Well, I suppose we did. Some of us predicted draws and things like that, but none of us got the accurate scores. So, Millwall v Hull City. What's your prediction, Henry?
2-0 Millwall.
Right. And you, Dave?
3-0 Millwall.
Oh, yes, please, Dave.
3-0 Millwall.
Yes, please.
And Ted, are you going to predict the 5-0 that...
I would love a 5-0. That would be the first time in about 60-odd years I could walk out the ground about 5 minutes before. So feeling quite happy and the game's over and done with. But, no, I don't know. I've got this thing about, I've been reading obviously about the Huddersfield thing, and that was 2-0, and Dave gave us a good account of that earlier on.
Yeah.
And I'm in Emery's camp. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win tomorrow night.
Okay. And I'm going for a 3-1. This is going to be the third 3-1 of the season between the two sides, but it's 3-1 to us this time and not to them.
Yes, please.
Yes. So, Henry, will you now move on to Southampton versus Middlesbrough on Tuesday night?
I think 3-1 Southampton.
Okay. And Dave?
I'm going to go with a 2-1 Middlesbrough win after extra time.
Ooh, that's a little bit different. And how about you, Ted?
Well, I'm going to stick with what I said. I think it's going to be 1-1 overall, and I think Southampton will do it on penalties.
Well, that's fair enough. We take that one as well.
While I'm mentioning that, Eamonn, I just while the lads are here and whatever, another little quick question. Who are Millwall's penalty takers if it goes to penalties?
Oh, that's a great question. Coburn, Ivanovic, you'd have to sub him on, Bannon, Aziz and Jake Cooper. Do you remember his penalty against Brighton? I think it's still going.
It's in orbit.
Yeah, Jake Cooper, when he thought he was at Twickenham, I think.
Yeah, mate, it's still going, isn't it? It's in orbit.
Yeah. The reason I asked it, because, I think we've had 1 or 2 penalties this year, have we?
Two, mate. I think it is 2.
I don't think we scored one, have we?
How many Ipswich had? So I won't go there.
Ivanovic has scored a penalty, hasn't he?
Did he? I thought Ivanovic, was it Ivanovic or Negley that missed?
Negley missed.
Negley, yeah.
I have a lot less confidence in us winning on penalties than I do have winning in the game.
True.
Okay. So who's your 5, Dave?
Oh, well, I think I'll go with Coburn. I'd go with Aziz. I think I'll let Bannon take one. I think I'd give it to depending is Negley and it's really, because we don't get very many penalties. It's hard to sort of say who. If he's playing, I'll say Billy Mitchell.
Billy the Mitch, eh? How about you, Ted?
I'll say I'll give you a short answer. I'll give it to anyone that wants it.
Well, there's confidence and there's selection, isn't there? But if I was doing it, I would go down the road of Coburn. I'd go down the road of Ivanovic. I'd go down the road of Negley. But I'd also go down the road of Sturge, who I can really recollect wrapping a couple of shots really fast and furious. And to add to that, I would go for Mr. Ballow. So
I'll tell you one I'll cross off, Eamonn. Having seen his shot on Friday night, Kramer.
Yes.
I don't think Alex Neil would ask him to have a shot from 12 yards after what he thought of that. To be honest.
It was somewhat poor to say. Well, thanks so much for those predictions. We'll review those scores, and I won't explain why, either before the Wembley final or during the Millwall News and Views show on Saturday, June the 6th on Maritime Radio.
Yeah.
So there we go. Tune in to the No One Likes Us Talking team for exciting updates from our games, whether at home or away. And they do feature the Lions, the Lionesses, Romans and Pride. And we're also pleased to share our community news from the Millwall Community Trust, both directly from us and through Maritime Radio, available on 96.5 FM, DAB or their website. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, YouTube, Spreaker and all favourite podcast platforms, including the Maritime Radio podcasts. We're there all the time. Thank you, Henry.
Cheers, Eamonn. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, thanks, Eamonn.
And thank you, Ted.
Cheers, Eamonn.
And a big thanks to all of you for tuning in. And don't forget, roar our Lions on this Monday night from the beginning to the end. Finally, let's not forget to keep it safe on the streets out there. Bye for now.
Yes, sir. Let them come, let them come, let them come. Let them all come down to the den. Let them come, let them come, let them come. We'll only have to beat them again. It's the best team in London, no, the best team of all. Everybody knows us, we're called Millwall. Let them come, let them come, let them come. Let them all come down to the den. It's Saturday in Cold Blow Lane. We've all come down to cheer. We've had our jelly deals and our glass of beer. Come rain or shine, our families will bring. And as the Lions run on the pitch, everyone will sing. Let them come, let them come.
And that's courtesy of Andy Petman and Zampa Records.